Hello everyone, my name is Alexana Light. I am a middle grades education major, and my two concentration areas are English language arts and science. In regards to the first question, in what ways could you vary your instruction to ensure you're reaching all of the various learning styles you might have in your classroom? I feel very strongly that the first thing a teacher should do in order to vary their instruction so that they can accommodate all of the students in their classroom is that the teacher should take the time to get to know each and every student who is present in their classroom. Not every student is going to be the same. Even if two students in a class are similar and have similar learning styles, there are still going to be differences between them. And it is the job of the teacher to get to know the students and get to know these differences so that they can best accommodate each individual learning style for every student. And it's also really important that teachers don't lump students who may appear to be similar into one category and assume that because they appear similar, they are exactly the same. Teachers need to recognize that students do have these differences and that these differences play a very big role in how the students perform in a classroom and how they learn in a classroom setting. Then, once the teacher has gotten to know each student within their class, that's when the teacher can begin working on varying their instruction methods in order to help reach all of the students as efficiently as possible. They can vary instruction through different classroom activities, such as going beyond the standard lecture style lesson and incorporating hands-on activities, group assignments, research projects, or other types of activities that may cater to different types of students and different types of learners. They can also provide students with additional information resources outside of just the normal classroom lessons, so that if a student is struggling or if they have a particular interest in something, they have these other resources to turn to as a way to ensure that they are learning the content that is needed for the class. So some of these resources might be books or other texts that would go with the class content, videos, posters, PowerPoints, websites, or anything else that could provide the student with additional information that may help them gain a deeper level of understanding of the content. That's not to say that the students shouldn't be paying attention in the class, because they should always be attentive in their classes, but these resources could be used as additional help if a student needs further instruction on a particular subject. Without a doubt, the most important part of varying instruction in a classroom setting is for the teacher to be flexible. Students are constantly changing and growing and developing at a rate that can be quite astonishing at times. So something that works for a student in your class, say Mary, for example, something like Mary could do really well with classroom lectures at the beginning of the year, and she's very attentive, and these lectures get through to her very well. But by March, she may have developed enough that lectures no longer help her quite as much as, say, a research project does. So it's up to the teacher to notice these differences in the student and to adapt in order to accommodate these differences as the student grows and develops. And one of the ways that teachers can help keep track as their students grow and develop, and maybe their learning style changes as they grow, is to keep the students involved and have this open discussion with them of, give me feedback on what we're doing in the classroom so that I can best accommodate you. So it could be oral feedback where the teacher sits down with the student and they have one-on-one meetings to say, hey, let me know what's working and what isn't working within my classroom. Or it could be written feedback. like students filling out an anonymous survey saying, hey, I really liked this part about this class, but I am not really getting as much out of this part in particular. Teachers can also help accommodate and track these changes by having parents involved and discussing these things with parents, since typically the parents are going to know a bit more about the student's particular learning style and how they've developed throughout the years, since they've obviously been around with the student quite a bit longer than that particular teacher has. So either one of those, getting feedback from either the parent or the student, can be a very valuable resource as a teacher, and definitely shouldn't be taken for granted in terms of working to vary lessons and instruction in order to accommodate all types of students. For the second question, I chose to answer the question regarding what teachers should consider when they plan to use computers in the classroom. There are several types of considerations that teachers must make when they are planning to integrate computer usage into the classroom. First and foremost, teachers need to consider whether there is even space in their classroom for these computers to be used. Do they have a designated computer table off to the side for any desktop computers? Are there power outlets available if students have laptops and need to charge their laptop? Things like that need to be taken into consideration so that students are able to actually physically have the computers in their room in order to work with them. Another thing that teachers must consider is setting up a list of classroom expectations in regards to computer usage. I personally would recommend that teachers work on this list with the students so that students feel as if they have an input and they gain a deeper understanding of the expectations presented to them. Some of the things that could be considered when establishing this set of expectations for computer usage are: when can the computers be used? What can they be used for? What types of websites are appropriate to be viewed on the computer? Are these computers strictly for academic use, or could they be used for free time activities, such as if a student finished an assignment early and now has the rest of the class period to do whatever, would they be allowed to go on a website that promotes education in a recreational way, such as cool math games for kids or Pop Tropica even? And what are the consequences if students do not comply with these expectations? Another thing that teachers should really, really consider when using classroom computers in a classroom setting is what happens if the student is absent, if a student is absent on a day when computers are used as the primary source of instruction in that class. If the student has access to a computer and internet at home, then it could be arranged where the student makes up the missing assignment as homework one night and turns it into the teacher afterwards. However, if a student does not have access to one or the other, either a computer or a reliable source of internet, then it becomes a little more tricky, and the teacher has to work with the student in order to accommodate them while still making sure that they aren't taking class time away and learning time away from the student in order to make up whatever missed work from when they were absent. Obviously, there are still other things that should be considered, but I feel like those are the main ones to be considered when integrating computer usage into the classroom. Thank you guys for listening. I look forward to reading your discussion replies. So, thank you. Bye.